The media are such suckers for hyperbolic biotech stories. The recent headlines have been making waves across the globe. The dire wolf returns. What's more, you will see a magnificent snow-white wolf on the cover of Time magazine, along with the headline announcing the return of the dire wolf. Yes, the biotechnology company Colossal Biosciences claims it has produced 3 dire wolves, a species that has been extinct for over 10,000 years. But here's the big question. Are these pups really dire wolves? Or is this just clever marketing? Most famous for its fictional role in Game of Thrones, dire wolves are now claimed to have been brought back from extinction. But while the young wolves, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi, represent an impressive technological breakthrough, independent experts say they are not actually dire wolves. However, born through a combination of ancient DNA, gene editing, and implanted embryos, the 3 genetically modified wolf pups look, well, kind of like dire wolves. But let's take a closer look at what they actually did. Colossal extracted DNA from 2 dire wolf fossils, a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull, and identified genetic traits unique to dire wolves. Using CRISPR technology, they made 20 edits across 14 genes in gray wolves to mimic traits like larger skulls, stronger jaws, and white fur. The embryos were implanted into surrogate dogs, resulting in 3 pups born via planned cesarean sections. Impressive science? Absolutely. But are these really dire wolves? This is where things get complicated and controversial. Scientists have been quick to point out that these pups aren't dire wolves, being even skeptical about the ongoing claims. Dr. Vincent Lynch, from the University of Buffalo, summed it up bluntly. It's not a dire wolf, it's a genetically modified grey wolf. And paleogeneticist Dr. Nick Rawlins called it a hybrid, emphasizing that ancient DNA is far too degraded to fully clone extinct animals. Corey Bradshaw, Professor of Global Ecology at Australia's Flinders University. So yes, they have slightly genetically modified wolves maybe, and that's probably the best that you're going to get. And those slight modifications seem to have been derived from retrieved dire wolf material. Does that make it a dire wolf? No. Does it make a slightly modified grey wolf? Yes. Also, according to Craig Stanford, biological sciences and anthropology professor at USC, the Colossal Biosciences dire wolf isn't quite the real thing. We shouldn't fool ourselves into thinking they've recreated dire wolves. They haven't. They've created something that resembles a dire wolf, Stanford said in an interview. Even Colossal admits these aren't exact replicas. Instead, they call them functional equivalents. But let's be honest, functional equivalent doesn't quite grab headlines like it is now, does it? Yeah, so the media went with the more clickable headline of brought back from extinction. Why all the hype? Let's be honest. Part of the buzz comes from pop culture. Dire wolves gained fame thanks to Game of Thrones, even naming one pup Khaleesi, which feels like a nod to that fandom. But scientists argue this focus on appearance over substance undermines real conservation efforts. At the end of the day, Colossal hasn't brought back dire wolves. They've created grey wolves with some dire wolf-like traits. It's an extraordinary scientific achievement, but not true de-extinction.